Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Um, I have to say, it's been a pleasant surprise doing these videos. But it's good that you travel whether you're a man or you're a woman. And I've done some videos of people traveling, but it's easier for the men these days to get certain men are getting by, but the women are really catching it. Let me show you this video, and I'll get back a couple videos, and I'll get back to you.
We got one of the sisters here that took a job in Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is a European country in the southeast region of Europe, and she went there to teach English to the children. Well, I want you to hear her story, like what actually happened to her on a train. And one thing that we have to realize, as I stated in another video, when we're traveling while black is a real issue that we have to consider, and also we need to consider where we're going at the same time. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
My name is Ariel. I'm a Fulbright scholar teaching in Bulgaria. This is what it's like to be a black woman living in Bulgaria. I was just almost murdered in front of 300 people running for my life on a train, and nobody helped me out because I was black. My voice is gone right now because I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for somebody to do something and help me while I was being chased with tasers and sticks. This is what happened. So try to stay and watch for as long as you can so you can hear the truth of things that they're not going to tell you. When I got on the train, the conductor told me that I couldn't sit in my assigned seat and that I had to stand in the back of the train for 6 hours with my dog, although I purchased tickets for both of us. After that, a gay guy invited me into his cabin with him and his friends. We go in to sit down, and immediately a Bulgarian man starts screaming at me, "Why the are you in here? Take the fuck to the back. Are you dumb?" So after a few minutes of ignoring him, I turned to him and I said, "Look, I get it. You're frustrated. You can't sit in the seats that you bought, and I can't sit in my assigned seats either. I get it. We're frustrated, but I don't communicate like that. So if you're going to talk to me, all of that getting aggressive and cursing and screaming, it goes out of the window. I disregard what you're trying to say." He tells me, "I'm a real fucking Bulgarian man. Do you know who the fuck I am?" And I say, "Yeah, well, just teaching your Bulgarian students." He says, "I don't think I'm a real Bulgarian man. Something fucking happened to you. You're gonna fucking die one of these days." And the people who were in the cabin with me, they get up and leave, except for the gay guy. They look to the gay guy and they say, "Good luck with that." So I tell him, "Look, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. As long as you don't touch me or mine, we won't have a problem." He stands up and he goes into his book bag and he grabs his taser and he starts to zap it. So I get up because at this point I'm getting scared. I get up, I leave out of the cabin and I grab my dog, and I'm doing this to create some distance and de-escalate, but at the same time I'm thinking something is about to happen. Pay attention and don't freeze. So he follows me out of the cabin and he tells me, he keeps continuing, "Bitch, and somebody's gonna handle you one day." He then chucks spit at me, spitting on my forehead, my eyelids, and my cheeks. So I grab my mace and I pepper spray him. I grab my dog and I turn around and I start running, and I'm screaming, running through the aisles of the train saying, "Help! This man is trying to tase me, he's trying to kill me." The gay guy catches up to me and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. Like, do I grab your bag? Do I follow you? What do I do?" And I say, "I know standing up to racism is hard. Thank you for saving my life. Stay with me as long as you can." And I keep running. And I start to call everybody that I know in Bulgaria. I made 5 calls. Nobody answered. So I then called 112, the police, And I'm telling them, hey, I'm on a moving train from Sofia to Veliko Turnovo, and the man is chasing me. He just spit on me. He's trying to tase me. They say, what do you want us to do? And they hang up because I can't speak Bulgarian. So now I'm still running, and I'm running into people's cabin. I run to a cabin full of men, hoping that they're not going to let this man get to me. And they push me out of the cabin back into the hallway. So I run into the cabin with the women, hoping I can hide behind them, and they push me back out, back into the hallway. So I call the only number that I have from the embassy, which happens to be somebody's personal number, and I text. I say, emergency, answer. I call, and he says, Ariel, what's going on? Are you okay? I say, I'm on the train from Sofia to Veliko Turnovo. A man is chasing me with the taser. He's trying to kill me. He says, I'm going to make some calls, and I'm going to call you back, try to stay safe. Is that all right? I said, yes. Thank you. And I'm still running, trying to get through all of these doors, and I'm bruising my knuckles trying to get through these train doors. And I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I'm on the train, and this man just spit on me. Come in. He's chasing me. I don't know what's going to happen, but I love you. She tells me, stay calm, pay attention, and don't cry. I said, okay, I'll call you when it's safe. I hang up, and I'm running. I'm still running. And out of all the 300 people on the train, nobody's still doing anything. Nobody's batting an eye. The people that look up, they're only looking up in disgust. So I finally get to barricade myself in one of these cabins, and people are still pushing me out, but this time I'm not moving because the two men who are now chasing me, because at first it was one. He's been running through this train saying, you just you. So now he inspires another racist to grab a military-grade baton and join in. Now both of them are standing in front of my door. The gay guy is telling me to come out. I'm saying, I'm not coming out until they move. It's not safe. And then he ends up getting them to go into another compartment. I'm running all the way back. And then he tells me, I run all the way back to the last train. The gay guy comes and tells me, the people on the train called the police on you for macing him. The police are going to be waiting on you at the next stop. You got to get off and you got to go with them. And I say, okay. So the police get there. It's about 8 police. Everybody on the train who didn't want to help, they're now getting off of the train to come and watch the spectacle. The police are only comforting the men who just chased me. And it wasn't until the embassy called and spoke to the police and insisted that they take my witnesses' information and statements that they did so. In the end, the police let the guys get back onto the train, and they make me go to the police station. I'm going to get into the car, but the police tell me, no, you have to walk to the police station from the train station because they don't want me and my dog in their car. So now I'm starting to think that this nightmare is over, and the embassy is calling me, and they're asking me, what do I need? And I'm saying, okay, just make sure I get to the police station because these people here don't care about me. Call me again in 30 to make sure I made it. I get to the police station, and I'm thinking it's over, but no, it's not, because the police tell me they don't want me in the police station. Go stand outside in the backyard as it starts to rain. So I'm waiting at the police station for 3 hours, waiting on somebody from Fulbright to come and get me. And when they finally get there, they're showing me that the police didn't actually write down my statement. They wrote down things to fit the guy's narrative who was just chasing me. And they forced them to change it to tell the actual truth. And to be clear, it wasn't until the U.S. Embassy called their chief of police that they finally offered me a cup of water in the hours that I was waiting at the police station to be picked up. So now,
no matter what type of severe asthma you have, Aspire can help you have fewer asthma attacks and breathe better.
To be picked up. So now I'm living in a hotel waiting to return to the United States of America. So yesterday I went into the school that I taught at to tell my kids goodbye, but I told them exactly why I was leaving, and I didn't leave out a detail. While some of the teachers started to deny that this was a racially motivated incident, the saddest part of all of this was that my kids started to cry and say, we always feared that something like this would happen to you.
Story was very, disgusting to me. Very disgusting, but also at the same time is that you really got to see the vile racism that happens in these places. We have to understand as black people, black travelers, because we travel all over the world. Just because we left America don't think that there's not racism in other places, especially against us as black people. When you go into European countries, you have to understand America and the people that control America, who are their fellow European cousins. You think they're so far removed from those thoughts? So why would you as a black person want to be going to take jobs in European countries like that? It's a possibility you could deal with it. Look at how they lied. Look at how the other guy was joining in. Like if she wasn't, quick enough if she didn't have that contact at the U.S. Embassy, it could have really ended bad for her. And also, I'm going to say something else. Sisters, you need to start traveling. If you're going to travel certain places, especially places where it can be a little hostile, you need to travel with a man. If you don't have a husband, travel with your brother. Travel with your uncle, your father, some male you need to travel with. Because in a lot of situations, when they see a woman by herself, listen, and even in their own country, they don't respect women. Women are not really respected in a lot of countries outside of America like that. Women in America can do a lot and get away with a lot. In other countries, women, they got better be quiet. Because if they don't be quiet, and they can get hit or worse. You talking about you gonna tell the police? You heard when the sister said when this dude was chasing, say, what you want us to do about it? That is a lot of response toward women in a lot of countries outside of America. You're not protected by the police like you are in America. Even in the African continent too. I can't just say Bulgaria with that one. We're talking about women. I have one of my subscribers that's told me many times out of South Africa that, hey, black American women are spoiled because they can say what they want, do what they want, and the men don't hit them like that. The men actually allow them to do different things versus in our country, you start talking like that toward these South African men, and they about to go upside your head. And then you talking about telling the police, they gonna say the same thing. Well, what did you do to get hit? So you really got to understand that. So you're in Bulgaria, a homogenous European society. They don't have many black people. And the black people they do see half of the time is Africans, right? So look at what the students said. They know the racism is so bad. They said they knew it was a matter of time that she was going to run into that. So once again, to black travelers that's coming from America, please consider where you're going. You don't need to lose your life or get locked up abroad because they are sitting up there being racist towards you. I've heard stories out of, when people go teach in Korea and different places, I've heard different incidents that happen. And I'm telling you, ladies, they're going to try you a lot more when you don't have no man. Because in other countries, when you talk about patriarchy, America's not a patriarchy at all. Other countries outside of America, European countries, Asian countries, African, Caribbean, Latin America, places like that, those are true patriarchy in every sense of the word. That's why having a man with you is going to protect you from a whole lot of things. Because let's say if this sister had a man with her, things would have went a lot different. She would have had some protection. Just things would have been a lot different for her. And sometimes when a man see you with a man, he's not going to try you. But when he see you by yourself, oh yeah, he gonna really try you at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad this sister is safe. I'm glad she, could live to tell this story. But I'm gonna keep saying this, and I've said this many times before. Why are y'all passing up Africa? Y'all see on this particular channel, I have videos from the African continent. We'll be going back in October to Ghana. We'll be filming things there. Why y'all pass all that vast land in Africa up to go deal with some more racism? I'm not about to leave America to go somewhere else to deal with some racism. Why don't y'all explore the African continent? Why don't you explore the Caribbean? All these nations that you have where people look like you don't have to worry about racism, right? We deal with enough of that mess in America. So why don't you go see all the African nations? Now, we're not talking about Tunisia. We're not talking about that place. No. Not places like that. But we're talking about the places like South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Ghana, Nigeria. Just to name a few, Kenya, Uganda. Just naming a few countries. Go see all those nations. Trust me, you have not seen the majority of the African continent. Because one thing about me, once again, I don't want to deal with no racism. So what the hell I'm going to go fly somewhere else to deal with it? And for surely, I'm not about to be teaching their kids, and you telling him about teaching their kids, they don't care about that. That's that. See, in America, that's like, I guess that would be like a comeback. And them people in that country, they don't want you teaching their kids anyway. They don't think like, oh my God, that's a great thing you're doing. They don't, no, because they don't honor us and they don't respect us like that. So how else you think they're going to come across? But what I will say, just my opinion, I have no dealings in Bulgaria. I'm not going to Bulgaria. I ain't lost nothing in Bulgaria. And I would tell other Black American travelers, or any Black person traveling, not just a Black American who could be watching, don't go to Bulgaria. It's not safe for us as Black people. And I'm glad this sister lives to tell this particular story.
Don't hit me. We're not on the phone. This is my mother. Don't touch me, okay? Don't tell her to get on the phone. Food, everything changed then. Of course. Everything changed once I got home. Yes, because someone bought for you food, or you bought food, or you bought food. Okay, anyway. I am patient, but right now, you're joking me. You still go away. Okay? Hey guys. I'm still processing what just went on. I'm here I haven't decided if I'm going to see the hotel name yet. And I'm minding my business. And I have been staying at this hotel for about a week and a half. Mind you, every day has been fine. I've been popping in, popping out of the hotel. Every day saying hi to reception. On my way into the hotel and leaving, everything's been fine. All of a sudden, I'm going to set this up for you guys. So, I go out for the full day. I'm back around 6 p.m. back to the hotel. And I needed to send postcards. So, on my way back up the stairs, so I'm going up to my hotel, the lady at reception goes, oh, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. So, please hang out in the reception area or in the lobby. So, I'm like, okay, because she was talking to another guest. So, okay. So, then she talked to the guest. The guest stops talking to her, and then she goes, oh, you come here. I'm like, it's still you with the glasses on. And we saw that you bought some food. Her name, and she said, I'm not telling you. So I said, okay. This is the lady with the glasses on in the video. She goes, we need to charge you for your food. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, so part of the hotel policy is that you don't bring any outside food. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, part of the hotel policy is that you don't bring outside food, and you've been ordering food. I'm like, anyways, miss, have a nice day. Trying to go back up to my hotel room. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Apparently a part of the hotel policy is you got to duck in here and order room service here and no outside food. No one ever said that to me. It's not written anywhere. It's not written in any part of the hotel, but apparently it's the secret rule. It's like, if someone tells me I can't do something, unfortunately, I try to go do that thing, if that makes sense. So I order food again. I order food because I was like, how dare you tell me I can't order food? It's a hotel, it's not a freaking prison, like, and it's not a restaurant, it's not the movie theater, I'm in a hotel, I can order food, I don't want to eat this food, so I order food again. So Lily doesn't say anything. Right. She sees me getting the food too. I get a phone call, ring, 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 we need you to come downstairs. I figured it's going to be about the food, so you can say I kind of stoked this argument, because the lady felt disrespected, because she just told me I could order food, and then I ordered food. So I go downstairs, and there's three guys, 2 security guys, another white guy, and her. And they're like, here's a bill. They slide me a bill for 700 euros. And they're like, you owe this to the hotel. And I'm like, can you explain to me why I owe 750 euros to this hotel? They're like, we've calculated every day we've been finding you for ordering food when we clearly said you can't, and for makeup once house. I'm like, mind you, when I tell you I've been going in and out and in and out and in and out of this hotel every day. My hotel's been cleaned every single day. They're like, we've had several makeup stains on the towels. I wear concealer like under here, that doesn't stain. They're like, for makeup on towels, and also we've been finding you every day, every single day for ordering food. Like, apparently they've been finding me and it's been accumulating. I was like, this is a joke. So I'm like, I'm not even entertaining this. The girl literally goes, we'll call the police and we'll even call the United States Coast Guard or something, she said. And we'll get you in trouble. I'm like, is this real life? So I have a postcard program, right? So I send postcards to you guys. You can sign up down below. And basically, I send you guys a postcard every time I travel. So I have about 25, 30 postcards in my hand, and I'm trying to leave the door. I'm completely ignoring these people. I'm like, this is a joke. I'm not even entertaining them. I have all these postcards in my hand. By the way, I went back upstairs, and I'm coming back down to send the postcards, right? Because every day I send out about 20, 30 postcards to you guys who sign up. This random woman comes out of nowhere. They called her. They literally called this woman to come correct me. Lord knows who she was, because I asked for ID, I asked for credentials, I asked for who is she. She said she owns the hotel. But I'm like, I don't believe you. Can I see some kind of ID, or you're not even wearing a suit? They literally called like a lady to come pick me up. She literally smacks the postcards out of my hands that are for you guys who signed up for my postcard program. She pushes me onto a couch. She smacks me. I can't make this up, you guys. And she's standing over me, like, literally, like, I'm like, who does this woman think I'm like, wait, this is not happening. She's standing over me after she punched me, and she said, you're not going anywhere. Give me my money. That's exactly.
Damn.
No, Five Below, you have no idea.
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. I want to do this video because, another sister has got herself into a bind over in Dubai. And, I have said this before on several other videos, that sisters who have been coming into Africa and other countries have been finding that their habits, their bad behaviors, their way of displaying disrespect to men have really caused havoc in many of their lives. But this sister here, which I'm going to show you this video of how screaming can get you arrested. Check the video out and I'll be back.
Fox, the last 2 months are described as terrifying for a Houston woman who we're told is being detained in Dubai. Fox 26's Domely Keith joining us live near downtown Houston with why she's being held. Domely.
Well, the crime she's charged with may surprise you, and Dubai is increasingly becoming a vacation spot for a number of Houston women. One who's there right now, according to her social media page, is trying to get back to the Bayou City, but according to her mom, her passport has been confiscated because she was charged with screaming in public.
It also could result in prison time. So it's very scary.
The trip turned terrifying for Tiara Young Allen when her mom says she was a passenger in a friend's rental car and they got into an accident there in Dubai. Tina Baxter says when her daughter went to the company to retrieve her ID, credit card, and other items left in the rental, Baxter says it did not go well.
She found out that she could only receive those items if she paid an undisclosed amount of money. She dealt with a very aggressive individual, a young man there who was screaming at her.
Baxter says her 29-year-old daughter ultimately yelled back at the rental car agent, she says resulting in her being charged for screaming there in Dubai.
And so she is in jail for one reason and one reason alone. She raised her voice. In that country, a female is not even allowed to raise her voice. If she raises her voice, it's punishable by jail time.
It's been very emotional. There are some days I stay up all night crying.
They have a strict law system that is really based on theocracy.
This website warns, quote, laws and customs are very different, so be aware of your actions to ensure they don't offend while in United Arab Emirates. Now, after Baxter says her daughter was charged with screaming in Dubai, her passport has been taken, and the American social media influencer who works as a truck driver can't leave the UAE, according to her mom. And her mom says she's been placed under a travel ban pending the outcome of the investigation.
It's very frightening. The longer she's been there, the more reality has started to kick in.
In our opinion, she did not commit a crime. Don't punish women for doing the same thing a man can do in Dubai. It's not fair and it's not right.
Now, the 29-year-old does now have an attorney there in Dubai, and her mom says she's told that she could face jail time because there is surveillance video of her screaming. Now, we have reached out to the U.S. and the UAE embassies. Will government officials step in and give her assistance? I'm still awaiting responses. Reporting live near downtown Houston, I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
What do you think? Let me say this right here. You know, this is not to beat up on our sisters or browbeat a sister. This is about bringing education and awareness that when you're traveling, you know, abroad, you have to be mindful that when you're having, whether it is confrontations, arguments, you know, disputes, these countries' men are at a higher esteem than in America. I know, being 56 years old, I've watched over the years as men have been emasculated, and it has become now almost a war between the sexes. If we don't wake up and realize that we should be one, respecting everyone, and yet we want to take these behaviors over and how you might treat in your own country and go over and display and choose to act that same way, you are going to get yourself caught. Now look at this picture right here of a sister. I was sent this here. I'm not sure who she is, but the guy who sent it to me knows who she is, and he told me that they got into, her and her boyfriend got into a so-called argument, and he wound up hitting her. I don't condone violence, not at all. I don't condone violence. You know, it said violence begot violence, and we don't know the story. Why did he hit her? Oh, it doesn't matter. I can hear people now. It doesn't matter why. Well, it does matter. It does matter because I know that I have seen many videos now where the young ladies are hitting boyfriends, attacking them, spitting, biting, scratching, kicking. And we have this mindset because she's a woman, we should not retaliate. Well, the boiling point is here. Because men now are fed up to the point where they feel as though that they have no other recourse. Because how many men are calling police officers to have a woman arrested because of abuse? So he will endure the pain for time in and time out until he explodes. And then people are wondering, why is it that he hit her? Or women are wondering why that he acted in such a way, when all the while this was just the tip of the iceberg that led to the violence that came upon what you were giving. In Africa, we know that you Muslim, man, and a woman disrespect a man, get ready for the judgment. Get ready. Even here in Africa, you deal with some of the cultures where the culture that the men are really respected and being in a position of being a protector, provider, being the head, and you have some woman coming from America, coming from UK or whatever country it is, and you're bringing a disrespectful behavior towards a man, you will get dealt with. We see there's more masculinity now of display from the women in America. Violence. Vocal attacks, confrontational. This right here has to stop. If this continues, what then? Where does that leave our youth? We have to end this whole thing with our ladies. And I say, coming to Africa, you can learn. Now, many women think that African women, Muslim women, are in a subjective state or suppressive state, a suppressive state, or a oppressive state, and they think it's demeaning, they think it's belittling that a woman can't be like a man, which is the most silliest thing. Men shows rage, anger. Women are supposed to show the peace, the love, and for them to grow up to be respectful, honorable women. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. out there who are in the struggle, who want to go and get out of the mess that you are in. I'm saying go black to Africa because of the fact that there is a different life here. Though it's changing in many of the cities that I might have visited, the larger cities, because they are watching the rest of the world, and you're starting to slowly see it creep into the minds that this is okay. But when you get into the villages and the places that are of respect for themselves, the people, the culture, man, woman, and child. So with that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Hopefully that change will come in the mindsets of our men, our women that's coming out of these Western worlds, that the violence begets violence, and yet the war is against one another when the war should be against the one who's really oppressing you. Dropping a gold nugget that you can either pick it up.
I agree.
You grew this kingdom. Keep it healthy and thriving.
2 months are described as terrifying for a Houston woman who we're told is being detained in Dubai. Fox 26's Dominique Keith joining us live near downtown Houston with why she's being held. Dominique.
Well, the crime she's charged with may surprise you, and Dubai is increasingly becoming a vacation spot for a number of Houston women. One who's there right now, according to her social media page, is trying to get back to the Bayou City, but according to her mom, her passport has been confiscated because she was charged with screaming in public.
Hey, this is Ro, please act right. Remember the basketball player Brittany Griner, who tried to leave Russia, I believe, and she got caught with some marijuana paraphernalia in her bag? Keep in mind, she broke the law in that country. Now, she would be considered somewhat famous, but this young lady that's being held in Dubai is not. So will she get any help from the U.S.?
It also could result in prison time. So it's very scary.
The trip turned terrifying for Tiara Young Allen when her mom says she was a passenger in a friend's rental car and they got into an accident there in Dubai.
Keep in mind, she was the passenger, not the driver of the car.
Tina Baxter says when her daughter went to the company to retrieve her ID, credit card, and other items left in the rental, Baxter says it did not go well.
She found out that she could only receive those items if she paid an undisclosed amount of money. She dealt with a very aggressive individual, a young man there who was screaming at her.
Baxter says her 29-year-old daughter ultimately yelled back at the rental car agent, she says resulting in her being charged for screaming there in Dubai.
Is there a chance that this guy that worked at the company was just trying to extort her for money? Men go overseas and get extorted for money too. But you don't hear stories about the guy getting locked up. You know why? Because we calculate it and say, it's probably better if I just pay this money than to get into an argument with the person and end up in jail. Clearly, she didn't get that memo.
Are you driving? Are you driving here?
I would say don't let the foreigners drive here because they're like a walking ATM machine. Every move they make mistake.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Because people will be looking at them as a target.
Yeah.
A motorbike hit. The motorbike didn't fell. It just scratched on the side. But the motorbike driver is still standing there with his bike on. And then the car got scratched on the front side.
Yeah.
And he's the one who ended up paying.
Really? Why? You don't want to argue.
Yeah.
You just don't want to, like, you know. Yeah.
See, she said it was the motorcycle driver's fault. But men know not to argue, especially when you're in another country. Just give them a little funky $10, $15 and keep it pushing. Stick around because I'm going to share a quick few extortion stories with you that happen to men when they're overseas.
And so she is in jail for one reason alone. She raised her voice. In that country, a female is not even allowed to raise her voice. If she raises her voice, it's punishable by jail time.
Do you think there's a chance that the man knows how the women here in this country act? And because she wouldn't cough up the money, he was provoking her because he knew she'd go there and he could report her for screaming?
Well, why don't you explain to me why what I'm doing is wrong?
It's been very emotional. There are some days I stay up all night crying.
They have a strict law system that is really based on theocracy.
This His website warns, quote, laws and customs are very different, so be aware of your actions to ensure they don't offend while in United Arab Emirates. Now, after Baxter says her daughter was charged with screaming in Dubai, her passport has been taken, and the American social media influencer who works as a truck driver can't leave the UAE, according to her mom.
I get the distinct feeling that they're going to make an example out of this young lady. Do you think that it's unfair for them to give her jail time for screaming at the guy when he was screaming at her? Well, stick around, because in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how it's unfair for us men who go out of the country if we break simple laws, or laws that we think are simple.
And her mom says she's been placed under a travel ban pending the outcome of the investigation.
It is very frightening. The longer she's been there, the more reality has started to kick in.
In our opinion, she did not commit a crime. Don't punish women for doing the same thing a man can do in Dubai. It's not fair and it's not right.
Well, unfortunately, sir, your opinion doesn't matter when it comes down to someone breaking the law in another country.
Now, the 29-year-old does now have an attorney there in Dubai, and her mom says she's told that she could face jail time because there is surveillance video of her screaming. Now, we have reached out to the U.S. and the UAE embassies. Will government officials step in and give her assistance? I'm still awaiting responses. Reporting live near downtown Houston, I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
This is a perfect example of be aware of your surroundings. Ladies, you cannot go to another country and act over there the way you act over here. Neither can us men. Here's an example of what may be considered unfair to a man being jailed, but it's still law in that country. If one of us men sleeps with a married woman, it's considered adultery in the Philippines, and adultery is against the law. If the police show up and ask us, did we ask her if she was married, and we say yes, she told us she wasn't married, but she is married, you still committed adultery. And seeing that adultery is against the law in the Philippines, shouldn't you already have steps prepared to protect yourself when dealing with the women in that country? Of course. First, you should ask her if she's legally married to anyone on a video or Facebook Messenger so you have a copy that she told you no. Second, you need to ask her to accompany you to go to the courthouse to get a copy of her Centimar. That's a legal document that states her marital status. This way, if she turns out to be married, you can whip out that document and say, here's proof from the courthouse that states that she's not married. If she used someone else's identification when you all went there, you're still off the hook because you took the necessary steps to make sure you were not committing adultery. In the case of this young lady, the sassy trucker, so she calls herself on YouTube, it sounds like the guy was trying to extort her, and because she wouldn't cough up the money, he provoked her to start yelling at him to get her to break the law. Well, extortion has happened to some of us men overseas. You can ask a woman in the Philippines if she's married, and she can tell you no. You believe her, have sex with her, and out of nowhere, her husband pops up extorting you for money. And if you don't pay, he threatens to report you to the authorities. Well, you got a choice to make. Tell him that you're not going to pay him at the risk of going to jail, or pay them the money. And I said them, because a lot of the times, the wife is in on it. Pay them both and get the hell out of the Philippines as quickly as possible. Now, was that fair? No, really it wasn't. But the law is the law, and if you break it, you gotta deal with it. So if any of you all think that she's being unfairly treated, I ask you this. What if the same man from Dubai was here in the United States and got into an argument with her, and it escalates to where he put his hands on her? You know what I mean? Put his hands on her. Would you want him to be prosecuted to the greatest extent of the law? Of course you would, because he broke the law. Do you think it would be fair for them to let him off with no consequences? Of course not. Bottom line is this. You cannot go to these other countries acting the way you do in this country, especially raising your voice to people in that country. And it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. What do you think would happen with one of us men if we went overseas and raised our voice to one of the men over there in those countries? Chances are the police will show up, and guess whose side they're going to take, no matter who started the ruckus? The person from that country. Well, I wish this...
I'm gonna use Carvana to get my perfect mom car. I traded this car in, and they came and picked it up. And I went to the iconic vending machine in Miami, and there she was. Trade in your car.
Yeah, I'm going to cut this short video short. It's about storming outside. But, just be careful if a woman ever come across this video if you travel overseas. You know, And this it can happen. So just be careful, and fellas, you be careful too. Men and women need to be careful when you're traveling. All right, then, guys. Till next time, I hope you enjoyed the video. Share, like, and subscribe. And hope you see you soon. See you on the next video. Take care.